All right, what's up, fellas? Time for Wake Up Mintzy, or the only afternoon show with the Wake Up vibe. We're joined at the top by Danny Conrad in the studio. It's a great day in the Chicago office. I'm feeling I got to say, I feel re-energized. I feel rejuvenated. I feel positive. I feel lots of energy. Danny, how are you?
It's contagious, man. So I want to say first time, long time. Thank you for having me on WUM in the afternoon. You asked me to retweet a post saying that I was on just seconds before, but I feel weird about retweeting something that calls me a heartthrob. Those are your words, not mine. But so everyone knows I'm just doing this for Mintzy.
Thank you. What a team player.
Right. I don't want to call myself a heartthrob. I want Mintzy to call me a heartthrob.
Well, I did call you a heartthrob. Well, we'll jump right into a bunch of stuff going on tonight. Danny and I, Barstool After Dark.
Pew, 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 pew.
7 p.m. start. I got to say, the creativity of the Barstool After Dark team always blows me away. I don't know where they came up with this, but we've got Danny, Kadick, and Tate trying to throw the world's longest bullseye.
It's an interesting concept, but Lucas has been known to blow men away, so I'm really excited for it. And in the meantime, Mintzy will be...
Yeah, so what we're doing is they've got to all three hit this long bullseye while they're trying to beat me on my second to last training run for the Chicago Marathon. And shout out Planet Fitness for sponsoring After Dark and the Planet Fitness gym in the office. I think I've run literally hundreds of miles. I wish I'd have done a mile counter on that treadmill and just put it up on the wall.
Oh, you're up there with Forrest Gump at this point, man.
Yeah, but I'm going to be running on the treadmill and going to be attempting something tonight I've never done in my life. I've never run 20 miles before.
Really?
20 miles. The longest I've ever done was last week. I did 19.2.
Well, have you done a marathon before?
No, I've done halves.
Whoa.
I've done halves. I've never done a full. This is the only time in my whole life I'm going to run a full. So I'm fooling up on my Stella Blue coffee this afternoon. Got dude wipes to clean up my mess.
This is a bigger deal than I thought. If once you will complete the full marathon, where do you think this will rank on the Mount Rushmore of Ben Mintz achievements?
I mean, like top 2 or 3 ever. I mean, this is an all-timer because I've always, I share the journey and stuff, but I've always been bigger and fought the health stuff. I mean, it's been a lifelong battle, and now this is, I'm the lowest weight I've been since 2004 right now.
Congrats.
And I'm really on it, and this is just something I want to prove to myself I can do at 42 years old. And I'm not trying to run some crazy time. I mean, I think it's more about finishing and trying not to walk.
Now, Ben, you've been very focused on the cardio aspect of the marathon, which is arguably the most important, but are you leaving room to worry about the little things such as the chafing? You see some marathon runners maybe have some accidents in their shorts. Have you thought about this at all? And how you're prepare?
No, the chafing was a thing when I was bigger because it would rub my legs would rub together. But it hadn't been a thing lately.
I'm talking nipples, Ben.
Oh, talking nipples. We'll see. I ran the 19. I didn't. Last week I did 19, and I didn't have any of that then. What I was shocked by, because the longest I'd done before was 16, and then I was able to get to 19, but my right leg literally went numb on the 19th mile.
So what'd you do? Just drag it?
I just stopped because my body told me stop. Because I was trying to get to 20, but it was just not happening.
What if that happens at 25.2 in the marathon?
I'll have to walk for a little bit to try to get it back.
Okay, let me know. I'll be there on the sides to carry you.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I'm a team player. Danny, you're always a team player. But so excited about tonight. I think it's going to take me like 3:45 or 4 hours. But do you think all three of y'all can hit that bullseye? Because, I was out there on the court trying, and, dude, that is a long throw. It's not like a dart throw.
That's the problem, Ben. All accuracy goes away once the line is pushed back to 30 feet. I think we're just going to be chucking that thing and hoping for dear life, and also hoping that we don't hit you.
I hope you don't hit me too.
No promises.
Even though that would be funny. And as always, there's some crazy punishment planned for the losers after. But shout out Planet Fitness, and I love the idea of tonight though, because I kind of went to Lucas a few weeks ago, hey, I want to do something with Planet Fitness, this training run, but that would be boring if I was just running. That's not good enough for a stream. And the dart thing I think is interesting. You're a good dart thrower, right?
I am, but like I said, I've never done it from 30 feet away. But also, credit to you. You were saying the Barstool After Dark crew is so creative. They blow people away with their ideas. You were part of the creative process this time.
I was part of the boring part of the process. But my thought on it was Planet Fitness is a sponsor, and I can do the treadmill and give Planet, my thing.
Right.
My thing correlates so well with Planet Fitness.
The sponsors are the most important, including Planet Fitness, and you thought of a way to incorporate them, Ben. Hats off to you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Well, so who knows how long we'll be here tonight. I think, like I said, I'm expecting – I did about 3:45 on the 19 miles. I took like a 2-minute break 2 miles in because I accidentally turned the treadmill off. Oof. And then I got to 13.4, and then I took a 5-minute water and pee break. Mm-hmm. And then I was trying to get to 20 and didn't make it.
So rumor has it that there might be a 4-hour cap on this one. Do you think 4 hours will be enough for you to complete 20 miles? Ben?
I think so. I mean, I think so.
Okay.
I believe so.
If we could dangle one thing in front of you like a carrot with a rabbit to make you run faster, what do you think it would be? Take your time.
I don't know. The only thing I know that makes me run faster is jamming these shows. And so,
okay.
And like as long as I can use my AirPods, which I can.
So maybe we put your AirPods in front of you.
Yeah. Well, if I don't have them on, I lose my energy. It's like Popeye and a spinach.
Okay. Or maybe we put Stella Blue coffee in front of you, Ben.
I love some Stella Blue coffee, man. Drinking it right now in the afternoon. But join us for Barstool After Dark.
Excuse me. You okay?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. You sure?
You got to take this Lucy out.
Okay. I know mouth to mouth, Ben.
Well, I appreciate that. All right, some other stuff to get into with Danny. Obviously, Beach House over. Dude, what a month, dude. You crushed it.
I appreciate it.
The Janny stuff was awesome. I'm a big fan of Jackie as well. I think she's one of the funniest people I've literally ever met.
No, easy. I'm just kidding. Go on, Ben.
No, she like I've only, I kind of knew her in New York, but we were on this fishing trip together in Venice. And she's really funny.
I couldn't agree more with you, Ben. Yeah, Beach House. It was a shit show, but a successful shit show. A little bittersweet, but also my body is happy that I'm back here. It'll probably only take me another year or two to recover, but do you put my drinking performance up there with you in your heyday, or did you just blow me out of the water?
My heyday, I wasn't ever like an everyday guy, but I'd party like 2 or 3 times a week. Okay. But I'd go on some benders, though. I mean, like the way Beach House was designed, I could have handled some of those 3 or 4 days.
Hey, Ski House might be coming soon, Ben.
Uh-oh. Well, Ski House. That'd be cool. And
time to put the drinking cap back on.
I saw you were
Just kidding.
I saw you were up in New York a couple weeks ago. How was that?
Yep, had a surprise Jackie for her birthday. It worked out well. Flew in at about 9:30. Was a little casually late, so I didn't steal her thunder. And, we had a great weekend, a great birthday weekend, Ben. Shout out to Rico. And mini shout out to Jerry for trying to help, but I had asked Rico first for the reservation last minute primetime at a primetime New York spot.
I know how hard those things are to get, especially in the smaller restaurants.
Yeah, are you still going to New York at all
Man, I haven't been. So since I moved in early 2023, I went back. Like I moved into 2022, but I had to go back and get all my stuff early 2023. But that was it.
Oh, you waited a year to go back?
I waited a week or two. It was right after New Year's.
But
I hadn't been since.
You put it a deceiving way. Give me
credit. Yeah, but I hadn't been since. I'm not saying I'll never go again, but my one regret on New York was I didn't go to the U.S. Open in tennis while I was there. I thought that that was like bucket list, but can't book them all.
Coulda, shoulda, woulda, been.
Yeah, for sure.
Maybe next time I'll bring you with me if I go to visit Jackie.
I need to get up there to go see Stu Feiner because I didn't make the pool this summer, which is disappointing. Oh, all right, how are we doing? I follow the Barstool Chicago content. How are we doing as Bears fans? I mean, it's been tough.
I mean, I guess you're kind of just numb at this point. It also doesn't help that there's no hope for really any other team. I mean, at least the Cubs are entertaining enough to watch. I'm a big Bulls guy myself. That's going absolutely nowhere. I'm grateful that it's not my job per se to always have to talk about it on content like Eddie, Chief, and White Sox Dave, and Big Cat, because I don't even know what I would say at this point. It would just be, like a Sarah McLachlan commercial for sports fans.
It is. I actually do feel empathy for the Bears fans because I really was excited this offseason about it for the first time because of the Ben Johnson thing, and they finally fixed the O-line, but they did not fix the defense.
No, and it's just like you thought Ben Johnson might be able to beat the Bears' curse, and so far we've been wrong. I know it's only been 2 weeks, but you've almost seen enough as a Bears fan to know that it's going to take more to beat this quote-unquote curse, Ben. Well,
I got to tell you, one of the craziest things I've seen all year on the DraftKings Sportsbook, the Bears are favored to beat the Cowboys this week. I mean, I saw that line and did a triple take. The Bears are 1.5-point favorites, and that's one of those things where when these odds makers set stuff, I mean, if it looks too good to be true, it is. Somebody likes the Bears this week because that's a wild line after the Bears allowed 73 points in the last 5 quarters. Dallas is 1-1. Granted, Russ Wilson cooked them, but Dallas won in overtime, even though Russ threw for 450. And then Dallas actually looked good week 1, losing by 4 at Philly, defending Super Bowl champ. That's one of those lines when I saw it, I just did a triple take. I was like, how is this even real?
I'm not believing that one, Ben. I usually trust Vegas, not this time. That's a live bet, if anything, if I've ever seen one.
Well, also things going well with the Yak. Your role, I mean, you're doing it, man. You're like a jack of all trades.
It's been a good year. Jack of all trades, maybe master of none mostly. But yeah, I can't complain. You never really know what you're going to get into. You get a face full of flour, shoes full of mayo. I love being on the edge of my seat for
toilet seat whirling the other day.
Yeah, that too. I can't wait for Mintzy Climber Pro Day 3, if I'm being quite honest with you.
I'm looking forward to seeing just from a vain, selfish way, like the pics from the last 2 and then the pic of me being thinner and the one the year later.
Yeah, the before-after pics.
Yeah.
Oh, have we made that an Instagram post yet? That's going to go nuclear.
Dude, that's going to be fun.
It's going to go viral, as you say.
Hell yeah. Well, I'm glad to hear everything's going good. We got join us for Barstool After Dark. I'm going to let you get out of here because I know you need to get home before the stream starts at 7.
Thank you, man.
But thank you for coming on.
Thank you.
We're going to be joined by Tyler Moody because we got a lot of football to talk, college and pro. We got a bunch of topics today. So much happened over the weekend, a lot of NFL injury news, and I've got a whole topic list to hit today. Thanks again to Danny Conrad for joining us.
Thank you to Minton, one crew.
There you go. All right, well, join us for Barstool After Dark at 7. We'll jump right into the football, waiting on Moody to pop on. I'm first going to start with the college. Yeah, I got you, Moody. How you doing, bud?
I'm doing good, brother. We'll get into football in a minute, but chat wants me to ask you about something that I don't think you can go without discussing.
Oh, they want me to address what happened Friday?
They want you to address what happened Friday when you made the appearance on SEC.
Yeah, I'll address it. The chat deserves that being addressed. Okay, here's exactly what happened. I mean, I'm an idiot, and everybody knows that. And I had a 9-month run where I got in all that trouble in December, and I was like, no more, quit messing up. You know, and I've had this peaceful year, and I've been so happy about it because 9 months is the longest stretch I've ever had at Barstool without pissing off Tabor Big Cat. And I just ruined it all in 60 seconds. So what happened on Friday was I didn't know I was going to be on that or anything like that on the SEC Network. My buddy Billy Lucci was doing an SEC Network segment with Peter Burns and Chris Doring, and they heard I was in the room, and they were like, have Mintz pop on for a second. And in the heat of the moment, I didn't think like, oh, I can't do that because of our Fox deal. And so I popped on I was on it for like 60 seconds, but then I realized when I got on it, I was like, I shouldn't be doing this. And I got off, but I still did it, which was completely wrong, and I'm an idiot, and I deserve everything that came my way on Friday because I have to have better awareness of that. And, you know, it was like what truthfully happened was it was in the heat of the moment. They're like, oh, have Mintz pop on. And I just was like, oh, whatever. You know, didn't think anything of anything. And then when I was on for about 20 or 30 seconds, I was like, wait, I shouldn't be doing this. And I kind of thought of it then. But it was too late. Obviously, Dave got alerted. He lit me up as he should have. I would have been pissed off as hell if I were him too. I ate it. I got called a selfish a-hole. It wasn't the thing about the mistake was it was a total lack of awareness on my part. Like I just didn't think in the heat of the moment, and that's not an excuse. It's not because I mean I got to know that, you know, and so ultimately it was my fault, and I ruined my 9 months of peace and tranquility up here, which is a shame because it was I thought going so well. But yeah, I got reamed. I got flamed on the yak. Flamed by Dave all day Friday, and now I have to be very, very conscious about my media appearances and get them cleared by Dave as a result of that idiotic action, and I'm an idiot. I don't know what to say. I mean, I had a brain fart. It was not – I mean, it doesn't even matter what I say because I can't win in the situation, but it was not like a malicious, like, oh, I'm pumped to go on the SEC Network and promote or anything like that. I just got pulled on it in the heat of the moment. But I got to know that I can't do that. I mean, that's very obvious that I shouldn't. So I have no excuse other than I made a stupid mistake. And, you know, I'm lucky I'm still here. So we're going to try not to make that again.
Same shit, different day, basically.
A leopard can't change its spots, Moody.
That's fair. It's
I
very
mean, I
fair.
had a great
I will.
run, dude. Because like literally, usually my Barstool thing, it's like every 4 to 6 months something happens, and that 9 months is the longest run I had. And I was like hell bent on making it to the end of 2025, and I didn't make it. So yeah, sucks. But chat, feel free to flame away because I made a dumb mistake, and I deserve every bit of heat I got for it. And like I said, I'm glad I'm still here, and I will be ultra careful about all media stuff moving forward because I'm very much on thin ice as I should be.
Yeah, I will say that haters really latched onto that. I mean, you have your normal haters. I go through your comments occasionally. You got your like two dudes that love to hate continually, but the haters really got after that for some reason.
Oh, they
So
came. Oh
they
yeah,
let you hear
dude.
it.
No, they did let me hear it, dude. I had to. I mean, I saw it and felt it all. And I'll be honest, man. Last week, I mean, the Friday thing totally of my own doing. I mean, no blame goes to anyone but me. None. But like I was already upset about all the stuff in the country Wednesday and Thursday, and then that happened Friday, and it's just Wednesday through Friday were terrible. Obviously, my mistake is nothing compared to the stuff that was going on in America. But yeah, it was just horrible. And luckily, Saturday, got to go to Notre Dame for the first time. Never been to a football game at Notre Dame. Freaking amazing experience, Moody. Like, you see, I grew up. I feel like my generation's probably like the last one where it's like mythological. I don't know. Is like would going to a Notre Dame game be a thing for you, Moody, or no?
I mean, it would be cool to do it, but it's not something that really would move the needle too much for me necessarily. I mean, obviously, I watched Rudy growing up. That was kind of the introduction. I remember Notre Dame being great when I was younger, but I don't really have any of those Midwest ties. So, like Notre Dame to me doesn't necessarily move the needle now.
Okay, well, Notre Dame with the 11 national championships, the Rudy, the history. I've been a college football fan my whole life. Just a one-time bucket list trip for me. And honestly, I probably won't ever go to another game there. I got to do it once, and I kind of brought up the U.S. Open thing to Danny. I regret I didn't go to the U.S. Open in New York. When this opportunity came up to go to A&M Notre Dame, I was like, if I don't do this, I'm going to regret this like I regretted not going to the U.S. Open. So shout out Billy Lucci and Texags. He came up and got tickets through him and parking pass, and I was moody, so got to go walk around, see Touchdown Jesus. The tailgate scene at Notre Dame was popping, by the way, because you always think like up north, the tailgates won't be the same as the South, but man, it was popping. Weather was great. A&M probably had 15,000 fans there, which doesn't surprise you because they never play at Notre Dame. They hadn't played there in 25 years, and there were just a ton of Aggies all over Chicago all weekend. Two of the nicest fan bases I've ever been around. I mean, all the Notre Dame people, super welcoming. You can give A&M all the shit you want for their cult stuff and all their traditions, but they're good people. Like, I don't know really any Aggies that I've never really met any that weren't, like, nice people. I mean, granted, they're an easy punching bag for a lot of their stuff, and I get that, and they deserve that. But, man, couldn't be more friendly. And I was in the A&M section right behind the band, and I thought that was cool because both A&M and Notre Dame have like two of the best fight songs in college football, and got to do that. And Moody, if you're going to go to one game at a place like Notre Dame, how do I get the game I got to see? That was one of the freaking barn burner. A&M, Notre Dame scores with like 4 minutes left, and the holder drops the extra point, and so they're only up 6. And then A&M runs the kickoff back for a touchdown to tie the game and then take the lead with an extra point. Gets called back on a hold. They go all the way down the field, but then A&M's dumbasses gets two bad false starts. They have like a third and forever, and then Notre Dame gets a defensive holding call, bails A&M out. A&M can't do anything on the first 3 downs on their 1st and 10 from the Notre Dame 11, and then 4th and 10 from the 11. They Marcel Reed throws it up to his tight end who makes a play in the end zone. All-time great Texas A&M play. They hadn't had I don't think they've had a ranked road win since 2014. They go in, they beat Notre Dame in a 41-40, just barn burner. Whole game was nuts. Shout out to Notre Dame. Atmosphere was great for that night game. Packed, rowdy. I'd kind of heard going in that Notre Dame might be a little more corporate, not loud. Not the case. I mean, very rowdy. A&M's fans showed out huge. They were going nuts walking out. Marcel Reed, their quarterback, you got to give him so much credit. He went in with a left shoulder injury. He got banged up again in the game. Kept going back out there, making plays with his arm and his legs, giving him a chance. A&M receiver Mario Craver, the Mississippi State transfer, over 200 yards. And basically, Moody might have seen Notre Dame's season kind of end, because at 0-2, and how frustrated must they be? You lose by 3 to Miami and 1 to A&M, and that's their, other than USC, they don't have any other really tough games. They could win out and not make the playoffs unless they get help. That's how much trouble they're in at 0-2. But A&M signature road win for Mike Elko. Like I said, first big road win for A&M in 11 years. But just spectacular overall day. I'm just so glad I got to go see it. Unforgettable experience. We got back at like 2 a.m., but just thrilled I got to do it. And, man, getting into the college football, and I got a bunch of topics for college and NFL chat. Feel free to fire away as well. How about that freaking Saturday, Moody? I mean, you went into that day, you had headline games, you had Clemson at Georgia Tech, Georgia at Tennessee, A&M Notre Dame, and then, LSU Florida was big, and you had an undercard. Georgia Tech beats Clemson with a huge field goal at the gun. Haynes King, I mean, this dude's at a point where he's almost like a Southern legend. What he's done, Georgia Tech, before he got there a year or two ago, they were one of the worst programs in the country. They'd lose by 40 every week. Now, all of a sudden, they beat Clemson, and they're one of the favorites in the ACC. He's won like 6 games as a big underdog, outright money line. And he's from your neck of the woods in Longview. His dad, he played high school at Longview. Didn't work out for him at A&M, but what he's done for that program, and then bringing up Clemson, who's more cooked, Clemson or Notre Dame? Both at 0-2. I mean, both have to win out to have any shot at the playoff after 2 weeks. And both of those teams preseason, I mean, Clemson was like number 4. But now they're both in the, I don't know, it's just crazy development to have 2 of the preseason favorites already out of it. That was a thriller. And then that Georgia-Tennessee game, I mean, I don't know who the dumbass was that bet under 50 in that game. Me, even though that was like my only loss Saturday. But Joey Aguilar came out and goes 14 of 14 for like 240 yards and 2 touchdowns, and they scored 3 touchdowns in the first quarter. And Gunnar Stockton, who everybody thought sucked, brings Georgia all the way back. Tennessee misses a 42-yarder at the end of regulation, and Georgia scores a touchdown in overtime to win. Total thriller in Knoxville. So heartbreaking for Tennessee, who hadn't beaten Georgia in forever, and they had them there with that 42-yarder. And then you look at the night games. I mentioned A&M Notre Dame. And then just 3 just incredible college football classics. And then even on the undercard, I want to touch on the Ole Miss thing. The Ole Miss-Arkansas game, which is always a high-scoring barn burner. I mean, that game was crazy, Moody. I mean, Ole Miss was up. Arkansas was driving down 41-35, going to score, really on their way to scoring the winning touchdown possibly. And Ole Miss stood up a receiver on a bubble screen, and somebody ripped the ball out on their own 20 to save the game. And I want to bring this up, too, on the Ole Miss front. What's Lane Kiffin do about this quarterback situation now? I mean, it's a first-world problem, but Austin Simmons, the starter, sprained his ankle in the fourth quarter against Kentucky. So the backup Trinidad Chambliss, who won a national championship at D2 Ferris State last year, started. All he does is throw for 353 and run for 62 with 3 combined touchdowns, no turnovers. I know Arkansas's defense sucks, but you can't play a better game. Simmons did pop in and throw a touchdown when Chambliss got banged up. But now you got a full-blown quarterback dilemma for Kiffin. Tulane this week. Lane's already said Austin Simmons is a starter, but, man, that's all posture, and who knows what to believe. My instincts would say you roll with Chambliss because Simmons was still limping and banged up. You roll with Chambliss this week, and if it goes well, maybe next week against LSU, and then you figure it out on the bye week. But, I mean, who the hell knows what's going to happen there? Full-blown controversy in Oxford. And the other game I want to mention is LSU beat Florida 20-10. LSU's defense, I mean, this looks like the old-school LSU defenses. Lagway, 5 picks. LSU with a pick 6, dominating. They've allowed like 24 points or 27 points in 3 games. They're 3-0, even though the offense hadn't gotten untracked. And if Ole Miss can beat Tulane this week, which is going to be sticky, Tulane, shout out to them. They hammered Duke. They got revenge on Dario Mensah. and now Tulane and Ole Miss battling at 3-0 and a real sticky one in Oxford. And we've got John Summerall tomorrow, speaking of Tulane. But if Ole Miss can pull that out, you're looking at an undefeated LSU and Ole Miss in Oxford next weekend. And that is something that fires me up about life, Tyler Moody.
Yeah, those will be some big games. I'll say this personally. I think even the best college football Saturday pales in comparison to even the worst NFL Sunday. It's just like college football is great, don't get me wrong, but there's nothing like the NFL. So like I watched all those games Saturday and there were some good ones, but I mean I just rather watch the NFL. There's nothing that compares. In my personal opinion, and obviously everybody has their own thing. And you went to an SEC school, so you see it a little bit differently. I went to Louisiana Tech where things are not as good. So like college football, it doesn't quite do it for me. It used to, but these days it's just kind of something to do on Saturdays. But I mean, I love sports in general, so I'm obviously going to watch the games.
Yeah.
But a
I
couple good
do
ones for
think
sure.
it's like because I'm so ingrained in going to the school and all that stuff. I think you're right. But that Saturday was so much better than the Sunday to me. But let's be honest, Moody. I won a lot of bets Saturday and I got my ass kicked Sunday. So that probably has something. To do with it. All right, let's flip over to the NFL. I got a bunch of topics, and once again, chat, feel free to fire away. You also got Moody here for fantasy stuff. It's pickups tonight. All right, NFL topics I got. Who do you think the best and worst teams are after the first 2 weeks?
The Eagles would be the easy answer. I'm going to give you the Green Bay Packers. I'd say Eagles 1, Green Bay Packers 2. I think the best defense in the NFL right now resides in Green Bay. They just need Jordan Love to be good down the stretch. Obviously, losing Reed was a big injury for them. Dobbs should step up. Golden should step up, and they'll be getting back Christian Watson before too long. So I like Green Bay, and then I actually think the underrated team, at least in the NFC, is the Rams. I think that's a very good defense too. Matthew Stafford, been there, done that. They've got all the weapons that they need. I like the Rams a whole lot. I still have some questions with the Bills and the Ravens. Obviously, they're 2-0. They look great. But I'm a little bit worried about both of their defenses. I still need to see a little bit more from them. But right now, I mean, I think the cop-out answer is definitely the Eagles.
Yeah, the Eagles, I know the passing game hadn't gotten on track, but, dude, winning at KC is huge no matter what, and especially after KC won their revenge after the Super Bowl, and they controlled that whole game for the most part. I know Jalen Hurts only threw for 102 yards, but, like, they're running the ball. They're winning. They're 2-0. That's ultimately what matters. You mentioned the other teams. The Bills are 2-0, and their defense played a lot better. They dominated the Jets. I want to bring up the Los Angeles Chargers, and we saw it last night on Monday night, winning 20-9. Defense looks amazing. The Raiders couldn't get to the end zone. Geno looked terrible, but the offense looks completely different now for the Chargers because they finally got the weapons. And you looked at them last year, and Ladd McConkey was the entire receiving core. Quentin Johnson was so hit and miss with the drops. Well, this year, Quentin Johnson's back in his third year. He's breaking out. He's got 3 touchdowns. He's busting big plays down the field. And then they bring Keenan Allen back, and him and Herbert have such a good chemistry. And all of a sudden, you've got just awesome weapons. Their offensive line, they did take a big hit losing Slater before the year. But their defense is super good. And, you look after 2 weeks beating the Chiefs and then beating the Raiders on the road by 11. I think the Chargers are a legit Super Bowl contender. And I think Herbert's got a shot at MVP if his guys can stay healthy, which is a big F with McConkey and Allen.
Yeah, no, I think it's entirely possible, especially because the Chiefs have gotten off to an 0-2 start. If you want to win the Super Bowl, you need to win your division, usually get some home field advantage in the playoffs. That's such a crucial thing when you get to the postseason. So right now, the Chargers are in the driver's seat. Long way to go here. Injuries can still happen. There's plenty that can happen. The one thing about the Chargers, they're almost pass first right now. Even on first downs, they're throwing the ball. In the past, under a Greg Roman offense, we've seen them run the ball a lot more. Even though they added Hampton, he's supposed to be, kind of one of the next big running back stars. They have focused on the pass. They've been a pass-first team. That's opened up a little bit of everything for them. So I still want to see a little bit more from them defensively. Holding the Raiders down doesn't do a whole lot for me just yet. Obviously, they did it to Kansas City to a degree. The verdict for me is still out on the Chargers, but I'm definitely more of a believer than I was to begin the season.
Speaking of the Chiefs, 0-2, obviously having no Rice and Worthy affecting stuff. Watching them play, Mahomes' legs is all they got right now. They hadn't got the running game going other than him. How worried are you about KC right now at 0-2?
I'm not too worried. Not the problem is they're schedule to start the season is just brutal. It'll get easier as the year progresses, but here's the thing. If they end up handling business down the stretch in their division, I think they'll be fine. Like they probably sweep the Raiders, they possibly sweep the Broncos, they get one back against the Chargers. Like I think they'll be perfectly fine down the stretch. But they got to weather the storm here early on without Rashee Rice. And if Xavier Worthy can get back, even if he's just a decoy, they need him on the field. Tyquan Thornton, kind of their downfield target or threat at the moment. He's got some juice to him, but he doesn't really scare defenses. So they're I am concerned, but I'm not quite as concerned as everyone else.
All right, some other stuff I got for us. The quarterback injury situation in the NFL. Starting with Joe Burrow. Man, just tragic. Tragic's too strong, but just really unfortunate.
That is.
I mean, you look at he had a legit MVP season last year. He's out 3 months with turf toe surgery. If he comes back, it's mid-December. I mean, I would think he's only going to come back if they're in playoff contention. We'll see. But just a killer for Cincinnati, who was off to a 2-0 start, actually. Do you think Jake Browning can keep him competitive?
The thing is, he's got such good weapons around him. I mean, he's got probably the best receiving core in the NFL. He's got Chase Brown, who they should lean a little bit more heavily on moving forward. But, I mean, Jake Browning looked decent in the second half of that game. I mean, he led them to the comeback win. He was the quarterback out there making things happen to get them to 2-0. Do I think he's Joe Burrow? Hell no. No, of course not. Do I think he's serviceable? Yeah, I legitimately do. He played okay in a stretch when Burrow missed time. What was that, last season, 2 seasons ago?
It was when Burrow hurt his thumb on the Thursday night against Baltimore.
Yeah, so he is serviceable. Could he get them into the playoffs? Probably. Can they win the division? I don't think so without Burrow.
All right, Jaden Daniels may not play, sprained knee. If he does play, he's not going to be that mobile. They're 3.5-point favorite over the Raiders. How worried are you about him and the Commanders?
Not too worried just yet. Obviously, if he's not as mobile, it is a bit of a concern because their offensive line hasn't looked great. That's a bigger concern for me than his knee. Jaden Daniels can still sling it around out there. Terry McLaurin hasn't gotten going yet. Adding Debo to the offense has actually been a much bigger factor than I thought it would be. I didn't think Debo had a lot of juice left. He's been making things happen. He hasn't looked great by any means, but the ability, how they have used him, has looked good. So I'm not super concerned just yet. I think they can beat the Raiders with a Jaden Daniels at 60%, just because I don't believe in the Raiders. So I don't think it's that big of a deal. And if they can get him healthy, the next couple weeks, I think they'll be fine when they get to some bigger games.
All right, and then the Vikings situation. J.J. McCarthy, high ankle sprain, going to be out a while. He looked terrible Sunday night. They're rolling out Carson Wentz. What do you make of this whole mess?
Now, that's a team to be concerned with. J.J. McCarthy, whether or not he was playing, they don't look great. The offensive line hasn't played well. Defense looks like it's got a few holes in it as well at times. I don't know. It just feels like with the Lions are fine. I know they got beat by Green Bay, but the fact that Green Bay looks so good and the Lions are still a very good team, it just feels like the Vikings are really far behind those two teams in that division.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, we got Moody here, big fantasy guy. We'll have the Fantasy Football Factory pod for week 3 out in the next 2 days. Who would be your fantasy?
If you tell me the last 2 weeks on the FFF pod, you've cashed in the Millie Maker. Nothing huge, of course, but I think I'm the only one that's cashed back-to-back weeks. So at least we got that rolling.
All right, fantasy pickup of the week. I've got one. Who would you go with?
Fantasy, it depends on your league, right? Are you in a 10-team, a 12-team? If you're in a deep 12-team, there's probably not a lot of guys to choose from. One name I would throw out there is Tyquan Thornton. He appears to be the Chiefs' downfield threat, as I mentioned a moment ago. He's going to be completely boom or bust. I mean, he could throw up a 2-point game, or he is someone that could catch 2 deep balls for 100 yards and a score, right? So I think he's someone to pay attention to. Jordan Mason's going to be owned everywhere. Ja'Cory Crosby-Merritt owned everywhere. But while everyone's focusing on Bill, Chris Rodriguez, a name to probably pick up, stash on the back of your bench, because they talked about before the season him potentially being the goal line back. And let's say Ja'Cory Crosby-Merritt, middle of the field, he's getting the football, they get to the goal line, Chris Rodriguez steals a couple touchdowns. That could be valuable for you in a deep league, or if you're in a guillotine league, which I play in as well. I've got Chris Rodriguez sitting on my bench in a guillotine, so he's someone that if I get desperate, I could potentially deploy, not this week, but maybe in the weeks to come. We'll see how it goes.
I'm going with Daniel Jones. I know it depends a lot on your quarterback situation, but people that lost Joe Burrow, I think, Daniel Jones is averaging, like 27 points a game, first 2 games. I think he's a great fit in that dome in Indy. He also can run a little bit more. And him and Shane Steichen, I think, have found something. And, is he this year's Sam Darnold? We'll see. But I think he's going to do well, be good this year. And so I would look at him if you're having quarterback problems with Burrow or injuries. I really think, I think he's going to be better in those dome games. But,
Yep.
I mean, it seems like it's going well. So that's my pickup of the week.
Daniel Jones right now got to be the leader for NFL Comeback Player of the Year. I mean, he was. How many times did I dog Daniel Jones and Caleb Williams too last year on this show? I mean, just the entire season, I was just making fun of their punk asses. And I'll tell you what, Daniel Jones has played much better. I've been highly impressed. Caleb Williams still sucks from everything we've seen. He should have a better week against the Cowboys because the Cowboys defense is terrible too. But yeah, Daniel Jones, man, he's been highly impressive, and he is somebody you and I are splitting a team in a 12 team, and we lost Joe Burrow for the season. I have a waiver in to get Daniel Jones. Hopefully nobody's watching this, but we got a waiver in to get Daniel Jones, and he'll probably just have to be our quarterback. I don't love it, but you got to do what you got to do in desperate times.
There you go. There you go. Tomorrow, got John Summerall from Tulane on. Can't wait to catch up with him as he gets ready for Ole Miss. The 1 week of the year, I hope Tulane doesn't win this week, but looking forward to catching up with him. And then, Moody brought it up, but excited for After Dark tonight. It's, I don't know what's going to happen with the world's longest bullseye thing, so I'm mentally – the only way I don't have to run 20 miles is if they all three hit it. And then I'm, so we'll see. But join us at 7, Planet Fitness, Barstool After Dark. Should be something.
Yeah, you better hope that they're incredibly accurate tonight. A couple questions that we had
Let's
here.
get 'em.
One of them was a college football question for you, Mintz.
Yeah, chat,
Texas
fire away.
Tech. Yeah, Texas Tech versus Utah, early morning game, 10 a.m. What do you think about that one?
Fascinating. This one is just such a – so Texas Tech spent God knows how much money in NIL this offseason. They just went out and they bought everybody, and they've never had like a really elite defensive line. Dude, their team is the best money can buy. And granted, they haven't played anybody yet, but they're murdering. I mean, they covered 22.5 against Oregon, or 23.5 against Oregon State Saturday. I think they're very good. And then Utah, look, shout out Liam Blutman. Blutman was telling me about Devin Dampier, the New Mexico quarterback transfer, and how good he was going to be. He brought his offensive coordinator with him. Utah's been dominant so far this year. They've always had a defense. Whittingham. Utah's a 3-point favorite at home. Weird home field advantage, kind of up there in the mountains in Utah. Makes me lean toward the home team, but there's so much unknown on both sides that it's like a hard one to pick. Because if Texas Tech goes out there and wins this, they're super for real. They've got a great home field advantage in Lubbock with the wind, and it's just a weird place to play. But if you go on the road to Utah, who also has a great home field advantage, you win this. And shout out Fox, big noon kickoff, Dave Portnoy's first trip ever to Utah. Said he's never been. Said he doesn't have hopes, the pizza. But can't wait to watch this. This is appointment viewing, 11 a.m. on Saturday. I lean Utah just because they're at home. But I kind of think they just win a close game. Dampier's legs are the difference.
Yeah, Texas Tech has that oil money, and they're spending it, brother. I mean, do you think in the next few years we'll be talking about Texas Tech as one of the best teams in the country?
Well, I think the thing is that everybody's about to be on an even playing field with the government laws change with NIL. I mean, I don't know about an even because I don't know if all the schools in the Big 12 are going to be able to match them, but this being able to just outspend everybody thing, I don't know if they're going to be able to do that with the current new rules. But, yeah, I think they're legit, and I think you can definitely argue the winner of this game is in the driver's seat in the Big 12, the early season favorite. And I hope it's Utah because I have a Utah Tulane parlay at 27-1 to win their conferences from before the year.
Oh, that'd be a big one. Tulane obviously looking great. That's just a massive game against Ole Miss this week. Michigan, Nebraska. Who you got from Huskers Fan 1?
My instincts say Nebraska here. I just don't trust Michigan laying 2.5 on the road with Bryce Underwood being so young. I just think I think Nebraska can make enough plays and pull this out. I just think Michigan, and I think Underwood's going to be good, but he just looks so raw with only 9 completions against Oklahoma and young quarterback on the road in that environment. I think it's too much. And, I know Nebraska's, everybody's waiting on her to break out, but Rayola in his second year now, I think they make enough plays to get this done.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. Bryce Underwood, he's going to have some insane moments where you're like, this is the best player in the country. And he's for right now, in my opinion, he's the Caleb Williams of college football.
That's a great way of putting it.
You can see it, man. The talent is there. He makes some super wow plays where you're like, this kid's the next big thing, and then he just misses the most simple throws. And I realized people were saying, they didn't take the training wheels off of him and stuff. I get that. I kind of saw some of that too. But how can you take the training wheels off a guy that can't make the training wheel throws sometimes? So I think there's like blame to go around, to the coaching staff and to Bryce Underwood. So I'm curious to see. Here's the thing: if he can make, mature very quickly and make some progress, like we could be talking about Michigan as a legitimate team by the end of the year because of him. Right now, I don't necessarily see it though. I'm still a little bit worried about him. I don't know who wins that game.
I don't think
Nebraska
I don't
already,
think I don't see it being high
you know.
scoring.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that. But who knows with Underwood? I think he's got to use his legs a little bit more too. What you got him for if you're not going to use him?
There you go. I agree.
If you have anything else, chat, fire them away real quick. Uh, LFAFO was kind of agreeing with everything we said about the top three teams in the NFL. And then Chadwick Moff said, having Rice isn't going to save the Chiefs. Their offensive line stinks. What do you
It's
think
going to
about
help,
that?
though. I mean, it'll help a
Yeah.
lot. I mean, especially because all the short passes he catches. But, I mean, the thing is, you're still 4 games away from him coming back. And the thing I'm worried, look, I'm not like panicking about the Chiefs at 0-2, but the way the Chargers look, I mean, KC may be fighting for a wild card, and that being 2 games back with the Chargers already having head-to-head, even with it being a 17-game season, that's tough, especially if the Chargers beat Denver this week and get to 3-0. If they win that and have head-to-head wins over the Chiefs and Broncos, they're, I mean, as much of the driver's seat as you could be early in the year in that division.
I know everybody's talking about the Lions and the Ravens kind of being the game of the week, but I think the Broncos and the Chargers is the most important game of the week, personally. I mean, I just, those two teams, vying for the top of that division, that's a massive game, Mitch, especially if the Chargers are legit. You got to beat the Broncos at home, move to 3-0. I mean, Kansas City has, another fairly tough test once again this week. So,
You got to at the Giants Sunday night. I mean, I know the Giants fought Dallas, but you can't KC. You can't lose this game. I mean, you lost. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, I completely agree, but I'm just saying, like, the way the Giants' offense looked against the Cowboys, it's not as much of a gimme game as we thought a couple weeks ago. And if the Chiefs were to slip up and the Chargers win that game, move to 3-0, like, it's a massive spot for the Chargers. Is the most important thing.
Yeah, no, I don't think anything's a gimme for KC with the offensive situation right now. I mean, they're going to be playing close no matter who they play with their lack of weapons. I mean, they're just trying to grind it out and play defense and do just enough to win. So, I mean, I don't think, like, they're fair by 6.5. I wouldn't lay 6.5 there at all. I think I could see them getting out of there with a 3-point win here a lot. But that's kind of what I think.
I'll tell you one game that I like, just kind of glancing through, and tell me what you think about this. I kind of like the Rams against the Eagles. I mean,
Plus
I took them
3.5.
last year, plus, yeah.
Look, I'm a big Rams guy too. I think this will be a really close game. I'm big on the Rams this year. I mean, they were my Super Bowl NFC pick, so I'm not totally shocked. But at Philly's still tough though. They just couldn't. I mean, the Rams have such a good pass rush, but man, they just struggled. So the Barkley having 450 against them in those 2 games. I mean, they gotta, I gotta see them shut them down to believe it after those 2 efforts last year.
Yeah, no, I agree with you on that. And then Cowboys Bears, I mean, loser of that game just comes out of there feeling horrible because the Bears could be 0-3 if the Cowboys lose on the road to a team that's looked like shit the last 2 weeks of the season. Uh, there'll be trouble for whoever loses that game. That is a pivotal game in the season for both of these teams. You don't want to come out of there 0-3 or 1-3. I mean, that's a really big game, even though it's not like one of the best matchups.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's America's game of the week. And then you mentioned, we'll talk more about Lions Ravens later, but obviously just what a fun matchup that is for everybody on Monday Night Football. And Thursday nights.
Should be a shootout. I think it should be a shootout. Should be a lot of fun, yeah.
Yeah, I do too. And then Miami at Buffalo Thursday night. Bills are like a 12.5-point favorite. It feels like the Dolphins season's completely over at 0-2. I mean, literally, it just feels like it's over. I don't know what to say. It feels like McDaniel's on the way out. They don't respect him. I mean, they got blown out at Indy. Miami usually is good at home, especially in the early season games. That you mentioned the pivotal games in the season. The 0-1 Patriots Dolphins battle, the loser going to 0-2. That one felt like a dagger to me.
Speaking of Miami, here's a question for you. Who is the first coach to be fired this season?
First coach fired. Thinking about it out loud. I mean, McDaniel's got a huge shot here. I mean, it just feels like it's all the wheels are falling off completely there. Let's see other teams. I mean, NFC South, like, as bad as the Saints and Panthers look, both those coaches are safe.
Yeah. Daboll maybe for the Giants. I mean, if things just completely go off the rails.
Yeah, I just think they're going to give him a shot with Jackson Dart, even if it goes off the rails, though.
Yeah. I feel like it has to be McDaniel at this point with the
Yeah, I think
Dolphins.
McDaniel.
He has to be
I think
the clear-cut favorite.
McDaniel's got to be the. I mean, I can't really think anybody else because I don't think Stefanski in Cleveland. You could argue that maybe, but I don't think that. I don't think you can scapegoat him for everything here. I don't think it's
Agreed.
all his.
Yeah.
I don't think it's his fault. I mean, they're obviously terrible. So yeah, I'll go with McDaniel. I mean, I think you're looking at a situation in Miami where they could win 3 or 4 games. I mean, it could really fall off the wheels with, Tyreek stuff. I mean, it could get bad, and that's if Tua stays healthy too, which is always a problem.
I know the Dolphins said last week before the game they're not trading Tyreek. If they lose to the Bills and they fall to 0-3 and Buffalo's 3-0, I think you have to seriously
Oh, you
consider
have
trading
to.
Tyreek.
No,
'Cause
I mean, you got to
Tyreek's going to check out, man. He may already be checked out. I think they got to get anything they can in return, get that money off the books. Your season's going to be shot at that point. Obviously, Kansas City would be a big time suitor for that. Maybe Washington if they have any money left. You would probably think Kansas City would be the number one suitor, but like if you're the Dolphins and you fall to 0-3, like he's not going to even give a shit in the second half of the year. You got to trade him and get something of value.
I agree, and you got to get that money off the books. The only thing with the KC thing is I just don't think they have any money because Mahomes and Chris Jones got it all. Like that was the whole thing when they let him go. It was just like they just didn't have the money, and they decided that Chris Jones was more important than Tyreek Hill. And
is there a world that the Colts move to 3-0 and then they start looking maybe at a Tyreek Hill because that's a team that has some money? They could use a legitimate weapon like a Tyreek Hill, or do you worry about potentially, him disrupting things there?
I would make that move in a heartbeat if I were Indy, because like you said, Daniel Jones makes $14 million. Richardson's on a rookie contract, so you do have a little extra money. I'd make that move in a heartbeat because you get Tyreek Hill playing in a dome. He's made to play inside, and I mean, and you add him to, they've got Tyler Warren leads the NFL in receiving yards for tight end. Taylor running the ball, all of a sudden with Michael Pittman and Alex Burke, and they've got, all of a sudden if you add a Tyreek, if I were Indy, I'm trying to do that this second.
I'll kind of wrap up with this. I think my favorite landing spot outside of Kansas City for Tyreek Hill would be the Atlanta Falcons.
Oh, that's a great one.
Penix has a cannon. You put Tyreek Hill in a dome. They should have some money. I mean, talk about that arm with that speed. Tua just came out this week like, don't expect me to throw it 80 yards. There's a guy in Atlanta that can throw it 80 yards, and he's left-handed too. So that's a guy, that's a team that I think would make a ton of sense for Tyreek Hill if the Dolphins decide to make a move here, especially in that dome.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, that would be scary as hell if Tyreek Hill is a Falcon. I feel like Tyreek Hill's personality would fit in well in Atlanta, too.
Something about that, just as I was thinking about it, that just makes
I didn't even think about that, but I think you may be onto something.
Yeah.
Wow.
I would, as a Tyreek Hill owner in fantasy in a couple leagues, I would love to see it.
Think
about it. Drake London, obviously he's the number one, but he hasn't looked great the first couple weeks. He's a little dinged up. Darnell Mooney and Ray McLeod.
Those guys are threes, and those guys are 3s and 4s.
3s and 4s, exactly. You give them Drake London and Tyreek Hill on opposite sides of the field. That is dangerous.
With Pitts and Bijan.
I mean, come on now. They have money. I personally think that is the best landing spot for Tyreek Hill. Let's make it happen, Dolphins and Falcons. Y'all take care of business. Dolphins, go get blown out. Atlanta, take care of business against Carolina. Let's get Tyreek Hill in an Atlanta uniform.
Well, shout out Danny Conrad. Thanks to the chat for firing away as always. We appreciate you. Like I said, John Summerall on tomorrow. Should be a hell of a lot of fun. Join us tonight for Barstool After Dark. And also, while we're at it, follow Stool Mintzy on TikTok. We're getting the TikTok account going. We're feeling rejuvenated. We're making some moves. And shout out Moody as always, and Stella Blue and Dude Wipes. You're the man, Moody. Always appreciate you. All right, we're going to get out of here. See you guys tomorrow at 4, or actually, I'll see you in a couple hours on Barstool After Dark.